Okay, my name is Yashiya, and I've been in this for close to 40 years now. I came in under the teachings of High Priest Arya, Masha, and Yaikwa. Many years ago, I came into this knowledge in the 70s, in the latter part of the 70s. And in less than 2 years, I had worked my way through the ranks and moved up to one of the highest officerships in there at that time, which was 10,000. I also became one of the military captains of dealing with the military as far as training them in discipline and martial arts and so on and so forth. All this stuff is documented. I have it on film. Over the years, God had blessed me and He put a spirit on me to study and to begin to really go deep into the Bible and study the ancient history. Because to prove many things in the Bible, if you want to really prove anything, you got to know the history. You got to know the archaeology. You got to have archaeological and historical facts to back up what you're saying, so that people, though they may talk, you're coming with facts. Whether they're going to accept the facts or not, you stand on facts. The evidence will show the truth and the facts. The history and the archaeology back the Bible up 100%. Now, the question has been posed to many different Israelite groups, and many of these brothers, I don't want to call names. I don't have to call names, but I've taught a whole lot of them. Some of them still are trying to go in the right direction. Some of them have swayed off and have started doing their own things and want to believe in a lot of insane things, like the Immaculate Conception and all this nonsense that we taught against. One of the first things we taught when you came into the Israelite church in 1 West 125th Street, is we made everybody recite the 10 Commandments. When we recited in Hebrew. And one of the penalties in that 10 Commandments, that if you rape somebody, you were to be put to death. So you got to understand that when you're reading in the book of Deuteronomy, when it says, if you find a maid in a field and you force her, that don't mean take a baseball bat and knock her down and cock her legs up in there and jump on top of her like a wild animal and rape her. Rape is one of the most horrible things that can happen to a woman, and it happens to men too in prison. But what God meant when He said, if you force her and she doesn't scream, that meant that you forced that woman through your conversation. You rap to her, because no woman is going to lay down with you if you just try to hold her down. Now just think about it. I got sisters and all of that, and brothers and all of that. And you was to rape my sister, and I caught you out there in the woods, I'd cut your testicles off. Because I know you're not supposed to be raping anyone. So to allow Satan to enter into you and to put that thought in your mind is demonic, that you can rape a woman. You think David raped Bathsheba? No, he rapped to her, even though she was another man's wife, and later on, he was punished for that. You don't go around raping women. Nowhere in the Bible is it telling you to rape, because right up above that verse in Deuteronomy, when you go to Deuteronomy, I believe, Muitas, the 23rd chapter, we're going to go there very quickly, and we're going to break down that 12 tribe sign also. We're going to go there. There's a lot of misconceptions, but you have to prove what you're saying. You also have to have a thing called common sense. There's the 22nd chapter of Deuteronomy. I'm going to get right to the point. I mean, there's laws that even protect animals in the Bible. There are laws that protect birds and different animals, and if you don't treat them right, you can be killed. You can be killed, according to the laws of God, for mistreating a bird. How much more a woman, an Israelite woman, or any woman? But in Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter, the 22nd chapter, in the 25th verse, it says this: but if a man find a betrothed damsel in a field, and the man force her and lie with her, and then the man only that lay with her shall die. Did you hear that? Is that if you force a woman, you're going to be put to death, man. Now, how you going to read that and think that means you can force a woman? He says because it says betrothed. In other words, oh, she already got a husband. No, wait a minute. Whether she got a husband or not, you're not to rape a woman. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. It's like you're trying to kill somebody, you're trying to rape a woman. You think a woman is going to enjoy that? Only a woman that has 11 demons in her would enjoy that. That's 5,011. When I say 11. Sinetta, you know what I'm talking about. You from the old school. Yeah.
How does that make the Hebrews look on the street when they walk by and they hear the elders out there and they talking about it's all right to have sex with little girls, 13-year-old, a grown man can have sex with little girls and even rape her if you want. How does that make the Hebrews look? You see, because a lot of people on the street, they don't even want to be involved in nothing like that once they hear Hebrews talking like that.
Let me say this. First of all, a lot of them don't study the ancient history to understand what really took place in those ancient days. It's true that Mary, the Virgin, the mother of Christ, was a very young girl, between the ages of anywhere from 13 to 15. I would say more or less about 15. And she met an older man, a man that was old enough to be her father, Joseph. But he was a righteous man. He was a man that had a few dollars also. He was a carpenter. He wasn't a poor man. That man got with this woman, and he impregnated her before they came together in holy matrimony. The mother and father agreed that Joseph can marry their daughter. Older men married younger women in those days. They didn't rape them. If they did, they would be put to death.
So there was no immaculate conception?
There was no immaculate conception. I'm glad. Nowhere in the Bible does it say there's an immaculate conception. I'm glad you asked that question because I'm going to show you where the immaculate conception came from. The name of this book is called The Secret History of the Jesuits. Now, the Jesuits are part of the priesthood of the Roman Catholic Church. Now, let's see where this immaculate conception came from. It's on page 60 in this book. This is what it says concerning the immaculate conception. And this is in the bottom of the first paragraph. It says, Duns Scott's doctrine of the immaculate conception was enthusiastically adopted by the order, meaning the Jesuit order, which was successful in having it made into a dogma by Pius IX in 1854, a pope. Am I making that up? Does it not say that this whole concept was created by the Catholic Church? It was created by the Jesuit priests.
You are correct.
And this is documented not only in this book, but many other books. Yeah, I'm going to open up the page. It's on page 60. Yeah, it's on page 60 and paragraph, the bottom half of the first paragraph on page 60. If you can get this book, a lot of times the CIA and the government, they pull these books right. Right. And you can look at the part that I have highlined, and I think I have red writing right next to it. You can see where it says the word Duns Scott. Can't make this stuff up. So it's easy for you to jump up and say, when you're reading in Matthew, when it says a virgin shall conceive, that only meant that a virgin was going to get pregnant, but she was no longer a virgin after she met Joseph. Can people count? Can they think? How would Mary be able to go to Joseph and say, guess what, I'm pregnant, but I got a surprise for you. It's not your kid. In those days, the law was she was to be stoned to death. If she was impregnated by another man, she would be considered a whore. You're going to say, God had to come down and lay with Mary, right? You know how stupid that sounds? God did not impregnate Mary. He did not lay down with Mary. God is not the author of confusion. Mary was impregnated by Joseph before they got married. And when you read that part, that a lot of you Israelites, some of you that are going off, saying that it was an immaculate conception because the scriptures say he knew her not until the child was born. That meant that he didn't have any more sex with her after she got pregnant. That's all that means. But you done took this thing and done went into the twilight zone with it. Just like some of you are reading and misconstruing the scripture in Deuteronomy that you can rape a girl. If you raped the woman in the past, you was put to death. That's what happened to you. The penalty for rape is death. Most of these guys is out there talking like that. They know the first thing we taught them when they came in this knowledge, that the penalty for rape was death. We used to make them read it on the wall. Rape is totally against the Lord. And that's what I just read in Deuteronomy 22 and 22 and 25, right, Mata? Yes. Deuteronomy 22, 25. And listen at this next part. Now this is in the 27th verse, where he found her in a field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to help her. So you're supposed to kill that man. Kill that man. She had a husband. But even if she doesn't have a husband, and you try to physically force her, see, there's different levels of force. I can force you to do something right now just through talking to you. That's very easy. If two guys come in a room, and there's a guy in there, and they say, listen, we want you to go out there and break in that car. And they say, man, I'm not going to break that car. That's not my car. And they pull out a gun. I said, now listen, I'm going to tell you, you're going to go break in that car, or we're going to blow your brains out. Then they forced that guy to go do that, and they didn't touch him now. They didn't blow his brains out. They just showed him a weapon of mass destruction. And then he went and he broke the car because he feared that his brains were going to be splattered on the ground. But in the instant with these women here, this is talking about you force them through your conversation. You talk to the woman, you say, look, you're beautiful, I love you, I want you to be my wife. And listen, I'm not going to harm you. I know you're a virgin and all that, but don't you want a husband one day? And she think about it, and she look at you and say, I've been thinking about it. Well, why don't you get with me? I'm not going to harm you. I guarantee you, I'm going to marry you if anything happens. If you get pregnant, you're going to be my wife. And that is the deal. If you lay down with a virgin, she is your wife. I guarantee no woman wants to lay down with somebody that's hitting her over the head and trying to rape her.